Hi guys, welcome to another video. It's Ndagire here. So this is a video I really wanted to share because I feel like people are somehow taking it out of hand a little bit. Of course, it's a sad situation about what is happening in LA in the US, but the videos I've seen, the videos I've really come across to people who don't really care, and maybe because it's like the rich people that are facing this situation, like I can't really explain it. The number of videos I've seen of people, comparing the situation with Gaza, which makes sense because some of these people that are losing these homes, or some of these rich people, the same people that actually were not caring about what is happening or what was happening in Gaza, and seeing that people don't really give a F about what is happening to them, it's kind of sad, but it really makes sense. And it shows you that these people kind of forget that the world can really turn around and like things can really happen to anyone, because they feel like when they are in those places, they feel safe and like nothing can happen to them, which is really absurd, really. Like, it's sad to see that their homes are burning to the ground, but like Congo, right? Gaza, right? Like a lot of African countries are going through the same thing, but these people keep quiet and don't say anything about it. But because it's them now in pain and they are facing the same thing, then of course they want to connect with the people. They want to call for help. They are like, pray for us, which I'm not saying that it's bad to pray for them, because I mean they are still human beings, but like, did they come out and talk about what was happening to other people around the world that were facing the same thing? The example I can give is James Woods. A lot of people are giving him as an example because when the situation of Gaza was happening, he tweeted about no ceasefire, like he wanted the fire to continue in Gaza, and now he's crying about his home that was burnt down. So people are like, is this man crazy? Are you okay? Because you're the same person that didn't really care about people when they lost, or people being attacked, where there's even no like fire guards to help, there's like no one to come and really fight for them, there's no evacuation plans, like people are being attacked, and this person came on the internet and was like, no ceasefire, and then now he's crying. Like, why are you crying? Why are you acting like you are now in more pain than these other people that were facing the same thing that you're facing today? And at least you have an option of getting like a safe place to go to or run to, but these people in Gaza, or let's say people in Congo, people in Africa, don't have a place to really run to, and you're here crying. So that really pissed people off. Yeah, guys, listen to what people had to say. Black people and white people, like everyone was just not really feeling any empathy, if I might put it right. Like, people are really not caring about this, which is kind of sad, but I mean, it is the reality of what we live in. Like, the elites are now trying to also feel what is going on in the world, kinda, if that makes sense. Listen to these videos, come back, and yeah, let me know what you think about it. But I still send love to everyone who's facing this traumatic situation. So yeah, really sad, really sad.
you know, one day you're swimming in the pool and the next day it's all gone. But she came out with her little Yeti piggy bank for us to rebuild our house. One of us is a celebrity.
Thing is though, James, you are a celebrity. And with that status of being a celebrity, people tend to listen to what you say. Things like this. No ceasefire, no compromise, no forgiveness. Hashtag kill them all, meaning every single man, woman and child in Gaza. But now it's you that's in tears.
And the house burned down about an hour later. Been in there alone. It was just...
Now you're using your celebrity status for pity.
Our house that we had just renovated for 3 years and had just finally moved into.
But you know what, Mr. Woods, James, Jimmy, go fuck yourself. You see, there's this weird thing. It's called karma. And what goes round comes around. So enjoy your barbecue, and whichever skyfarer you believe in,
God bless him.
Right now, your God thinks you're a c***. Free Palestine. End the genocide against Palestinians. And fuck Israel. From a very wintry Manchester.
So by now, I'm sure that many of you have seen this video of the actor James Woods from Family Guy crying on the news because his house was burnt down in the California wildfires. And the reason that I'm sure that many of you have seen him is because of this tweet from a year ago where he said no ceasefire, no compromises, no forgiveness, kill them all, in reference to the Palestinian people. And the entire interaction really reminded me of this quote by Aimé Césaire and his general thought, because whilst Woods looked at the destruction of Gaza, he was absolutely gleeful, but at the same time, the same forces which continue to allow Israel to exist as an ethno-state which inflicts misery on the Palestinian people so as to maintain Western interests in the Middle East are the same ones which continually exploit natural resources and push us further and further towards the brink of global destruction because of the climate crisis. And so, as Césaire put it in the context of the Second World War, our sick society, which continually justifies the suffering of the Palestinian people and billions more in the name of capitalism, will be punished, and we are going to face consequences.
Figure out how to tell my 3-year-old that we don't have a home, and we don't have a school. We don't even know where to go, what to do next. We're staying at a friend's house. You know, that's all short term. Just wanted to see if anything's left. We had everything, like the sentimental things. Like my mom passed away. I had only a few things of hers left. My wedding dress, our wedding album. We left everything. Our albums, we have just whatever we're wearing. We're wearing the same thing for the last 2 days. My heart is broken.
Guys, am I the only one who doesn't feel sorry for anything or everything that's happening in LA? When I say I don't feel sorry, it's because these people, that city of LA, is the most, I could say, the most demonic city ever. And these people, 2 days before the fire started, they were literally sitting in their meeting, and then they were talking about the shout-outs when they get like awards and everything, the shout-outs that they give out. God, the creator, had 0, and everybody laughed. Everybody was like, and then they were like, it's not like really like surprising in this ungodly city, something like that. They even claimed to be ungodly. And then 2 days after, they burned them. The whole city is burnt. This reminds me of Sodom and Gomorrah. The Bible says that he burnt down all those evil cities because there would be an example for every single person that's against God. So when we say that money is really nothing, because these people are rich, they were just like rich people living there, you know, every single thing is not all about money. Because if they had money, then why are their houses being burnt down? If money was really important, then why are the houses being burnt down? It comes to show you that money is not really important. God is the only person that we need. And if you guys don't take this as a sign to really just come back to the Lord, then I don't know what you're thinking.
California is burning, and one of the things that I think is really important for us all to notice is that whenever they talk about people's homes who have burnt down, all of these news stories are centering celebrities. I was just reading a news story about this, and the people that they mentioned specifically being evacuated were all celebrities. When they mentioned people's homes being burned down, they made sure to mention certain celebrities who lost their home. And mind you, these are the people who will be the least affected. They're already millionaires. Some of them probably even billionaires. While everyday normal people who will feel the effects of this the most and still feel the effects of climate change the most, there is not one mention. All of the crowdfunding is being done online by us, for us. And so I want a lot of you to keep this in mind. When bad things happen to us, they don't care. But when bad things happen to them, they expect all of us to care. And the problem is that we do. But the only people who save us are each other. And so this is just some food for thought when it comes to living in this celebrity and rich people obsessed world. This is completely a one-sided relationship. Your attention is currency to these people, and they need us way more than we need them.
It's been around 36 hours since these fires started raging in LA. I think there's like 10 or so raging right now. The absolute largest of those being Pasadena's, which exploded overnight, and the Palisades, then Hearst trailing far behind, but still a pretty major fire. There was a press conference this morning where my representative in the LA County Board of Supervisors, Catherine Barger, said something insane, and I want to talk about it. Here's the clip, and I'll tag the person who sent this to me down below.
The Eaton Canyon fire is ripping through a community like I have never seen. It is like a third world country out there.
Now, I'm trying to balance my anger and confusion at this quote, but I'll start with the confusion first. There's this very strange notion that I think is starting to die in the States that, like, the global north will somehow be exempt from climate catastrophe. Spoiler alert, we won't be. If anything, the fact that we in the States have all but entirely disregarded indigenous epistemologies and land preservation tactics, on top of the fact that our communities were simply just not physically built to withstand what we're seeing right now, the US is actually going to be hit very hard. And with the speed and the frequency of these unbelievable disasters, we won't have the time or the space or the money to simply just rebuild. Which kind of brings me to my next point. It is very weird, like deeply strange and angering to me that like the third world is just used as a euphemism for like the apocalypse that we are now witnessing, especially when we have a direct hand in perpetuating the conditions that make certain areas in the global south look apocalyptic. Like for the last year and a half, we've been seeing apocalyptic imagery come out of Gaza day in, day out. And we signed the deals to make it happen. So like normal chill happening back there. But I draw the line when it comes to my backyard. Similarly, as one of the top polluters globally that is responsible for a number of the climate disasters that we see on a daily basis outside of this country, it's like when we see a flood, a hurricane, a monsoon in a place in the global south, it's like that's so sad, but it just happens there. But if it happens here, it's different. Like it feels like some kind of perverse like acknowledgement, if not like wholesale acceptance of the role that we have played in decimating the environment globally. And that the fact that it's come here is just unacceptable. But babe, it's been here. And I'll say again for good measure, I've lived here my whole life, born and raised, never seen anything like this at all. So far. Because each year this seemingly gets worse. But this clip makes me uniquely concerned that like this isn't gonna like settle in people's heads as our reality until they perceive this as like a normal occurrence. Until folks realize, no, this isn't the third world. This is America as it was designed and has been a hand-picked reality by the billionaires that have their little lobbying dinners in Washington and drill baby drill until all of us have to pay the price for it.
I need y'all to remember that a lot of the bodies on the ground right now fighting the fire in Southern California are prisoners, prison labor. People making pennies on the dollar. Last year in 2024, the mayor of Los Angeles cut somewhere around $20 million from the L.A Fire Department's budget. Other departments within the city had budget cuts as well, and all of that money was then given to the LAPD. The LAPD received an additional, I want to say it was like $130 million. Now, we all know that using prison labor during natural disasters is nothing new. California specifically has been using prison labor to fight wildfires for some time. And what happened last year in Los Angeles with those budget cuts, that's not an isolated incident. That's happening in cities all over the United States. It's happening currently where I live right now in Seattle. Budgets are being majorly slashed. Budgets that fund crucial city programs and departments, and all of that money is then being funneled into local police departments. And it doesn't make our cities any safer. We're simply being over-policed. And what happens when a region is over-policed? Higher rates of incarceration. And what do higher rates of incarceration mean? More bodies for labor that is essentially almost free.
As the smoke clears out of LA, these are the new images coming out of the Hollywood Hills and Palisades fires that happened last night. As you can see, the level of destruction is devastating. Like, these were people's entire livelihoods. Like, all of their possessions have been lost, like everything they've ever owned. So that was actually an image of Rafah. But images of Rafah, images of Gaza are the only things that come to mind when I see things like this. This is the Palisades right now, and this is Gaza, after manufactured US weapons have been dropped on it repeatedly for 15 months. The devastation that we are currently seeing in LA of entire lives, of people becoming climate refugees, of people fleeing for their lives, that is what Palestinians have been living under for the past 15 months. Now imagine you're fleeing this kind of devastation, fires everywhere, bombs literally dropping all around you, you don't know where you are. Oh, and by the way, there's no firefighters, there's no evacuation order. You look to your left and you see cats literally eating human remains. And there are soldiers literally patrolling all the time, hell-bent on headshotting you. There are no safe spaces. You hide in a school, they bomb you. You hide in a hospital, they bomb you. And you know what the House are doing whilst LA and Gaza both burn? Voting to protect Netanyahu. Whilst everyone is distracted by a natural disaster or the president's funeral, the House voted today 243 in favour to sanction anyone associated with the ICC. And as you know, the ICC has already issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu for crimes against humanity. But America are protecting him and any protected person in the US against any efforts to investigate, arrest, or detain. Californians are literally waking up today as climate refugees. They have no home, no possession. They're living out of their cars. They're living out of their friend's house. And this is how America responds. Protecting Netanyahu.
The homes burning to the ground with the LA fires right now is actually insane. The valuation of some of these properties is also crazy. 5 million, 8 million, 6 million, 9 million. That's the valuation of these homes in US dollars. What it looked like a few days ago and what it looks like now. How these homes appear to have missed the blaze, I have no idea, but wow.